Welcome back to Undefeated, where last time we just told Redline that we were in love with his dad.
It is pretty awesome.
We don't know that, but he probably knows that. I don't know how he could possibly not know that. But also,
Redline not knowing that his dad is the commissioner?
Yeah, like
I wouldn't put it past it.
That would be
honestly
real rough to include in the narrative if he didn't know. But also, we saw so little of the commissioner, we didn't even recognize a photo of him. But we're like, I don't know, I'm pretty horny for that guy.
But also, like, the commissioner is probably the worst thing that has ever happened to Zander in his life. So the fact that he didn't recognize the commissioner is exhausting.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, god damn it, the plot ghosts.
The commissioner was standing all the way across a giant room in front of a weird screen and refusing to like look at Zander and stuff because he's so mysterious and powerful. But the camera still zoomed in on it for us, which kind of kills the mystique.
Yeah, it's
because people only act and stand
brutal.
like that in TV shows and movies for the benefit of the audience. So then cutting close to show us a close up of their face is like, wait, well now we know what he looks like. So it's just Zander who doesn't know what he looks like for some reason.
It's so. I want to cut the commissioner from the story, just entirely, just get rid of him. But
that sounds like a challenge.
We're gonna workshop this whole goddamn thing one day.
Anyway, time to say that we got our hots for Redline because that's my truth, but not Xander's truth. Zander it's obviously not true. I reach up to scritch behind his ears. Oh,
really?
Behind his ears. Like, you gotta, I think somebody's hot around here. And then you just reach up and you touch his head. You pet him tenderly. That
tousles that hair, bro.
I can see his eyes roll back slightly before he closes them. His fur is so soft. If we're being honest, I guess you're pretty cute.
I guess.
That sounded mean. Whoops.
You said meaner, dude.
That honestly doesn't sound mean to me.
No, not really.
No, that doesn't read that way at all to me. That's just playing coy or being hesitant to say the thing, which is most times people speak, especially about this specific topic. Yeah. That's the most normal thing you've ever said, Zander.
Yep.
Not just because it's about Redline. He doesn't seem to mind though, giggling as I pet him. Thanks. What about you? I don't know. I think a lot of guys down here are cute, but like most of them don't want to hear it, you know? Plus it's hard to tell them that with their dick in my mouth.
That's a good point. I hadn't considered that.
Right. Oh, sorry if this is too much. I chuckle and lean forward on the railing too. It's okay. Okay. Thanks. A few seconds pass while we watch the waves. You did really good in your fight, you know. His tail wags. You think so? Yeah, man. You played it real smart. Even the commentators were surprised.
Oh, come on. Even the commentators were surprised. Is like... now he's gonna think like people underestimate him so much and they doubt him so much that even the commentators were surprised by it.
I feel like it's not that bad just because it was so obviously stacked against him that it's like, whoa. Because like he was at like a 40-pound disadvantage, which is like illegal.
Okay, that's true. Thank you for jogging my memory on that. I forgot that was a element of it.
Yeah. But it makes sense. You know how hard those guys hit? I do, yeah. It's hard to tell him what they're doing. Redline points to his snout. There's a bit of dried blood there. You should shower.
Okay. Yeah.
I swear he almost knocked a tooth loose. Imagine how much trouble I'd have eating. You can probably go without a single tooth. You never know. Bruce hasn't hit your jaw yet. He has to have, right?
No, it's just always choking him out and breaking limbs.
They've had like 3 fights, right? He has to have hit him in the jaw at some point. They do more
I don't
than
think
one
Bruce has
thing
ever
per
thrown
fight.
a punch. I think Bruce has only grappled.
Has he?
Yeah?
I feel like he's got to have punched him. I feel like
Maybe in the abs.
I feel like punching him had to be like the first thing that happened in these fights. Hasn't he? All those fights just kind of melt together.
That's not good.
Let's have neither of us check the back and read them. I'm glad you and Bucky got something figured out. Yeah, I learned a lot. Did he do a bunch of wrestling with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I learned not to wrestle the bigger guy. He gives a tired laugh. Except,
Mm-hmm.
I was really worried. I've never had to fight someone that big. Not an actual fight, you know? By which he means not a real fight.
Yeah.
It's an actual fight. It's an actual fight. It's pretty scary, right? Yeah, duh. I mean, he's only a couple pounds bigger. Nothing like you and Bruce. He's like 40 pounds bigger. A couple pounds. Dude, he was almost 50 pounds heavier. Redline pauses.
Really?
Huh.
Okay.
Are you sure? I mean, he looked pretty big already, but I wasn't sure if it was just anxious or Redline didn't check his weight.
Nope.
I guess
he never did see his weight. The weigh-in doesn't let us see. Why?
Yeah, and I guess they don't hear the announcers there. We never heard the announcers until now when we were spectating, even though we've spectated before,
true.
but it was the first time they wrote. I never did see his weight. The weigh-in doesn't let us see. But it's weird he's not even a lightweight. It was a lightweight fight, right? Bucky said it. I made weight. You think they made a mistake? Maybe there was a different Redline, or maybe they're trying to fire me or get me to quit, or that's one way to get you to quit. What if he hit you with his truck? Redline keeps spouting out his anxieties, and for some reason I can't help but place my hand on his head. His fur is really soft. Can't help but do. I mean, you already did a minute ago.
Yep.
Redline freezes for a moment, mouth still open. I see the blush on his face. Xander? I don't really know what came over me. I just had some urge to pet something soft. This is. I imagine there was a branch and then a branch closed, but it makes it weird that both he and Redline are responding more strongly to him doing what he already did a minute ago when I clicked Redline. So
yeah,
both of them blew right past it like it was nothing that he was petting Redline a minute ago, and now they're like, "Oh my god, what's going on here?" He seemed anxious, so I just saw Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and I cleared my throat and moved my head back to the railing.
And
that's okay. If you ever want to pet me, you can just ask, which you didn't do.
You didn't a second ago.
Didn't ask, which is weird. Bruce does all the time. All the guys do, really. Sometimes without asking, but that's okay. I like the attention. And things in my mouth.
This is making me uncomfortable, and I can't quite express why. It's just... Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Well, it's there's a certain... It's crossing a line from just being openly sexual and just having fun and being that kind of person to, like... He describes himself like he's public use.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Like utility or something. Like all the guys, all of them, all the time, and it's just like a communal thing that's happening all the time. It gets increasingly strange the more he says it with the particular language he's using, which is just like distinctly different from how people actually talk about casual gay sex. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't sound right at all.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. There's obviously like consent issues going on, but like, I don't know yet. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I imagine they're going somewhere with it like intentionally because they literally already had a confrontation about it before.
Yeah, I know, but like, it kind of reminds me of Redline's alcoholism, where it's like, where is that gonna go? What are the consequences of it? And like, stuff like that. And,
yeah, you expected to have more follow-up on that scene, but instead it time skipped.
Yeah.
Like between that, there's like multiple things where he's clearly indulging in a way that's meant to not be like, haha, yay, being sex positive is fun, and more like, oh, he's filling a hole in his heart or something.
I know.
And that's why he's an alcoholic and also a huge slut, is that specifically he's like, it's like a diagnosable behavior and not just like thinking dicks are neat and fun to play with. I just think they're neat.
Well, let's see where this goes.
That was him, not me. But also me, I guess. It could be me. It can both. No, I'm becoming Xander. I'm not really sure what to say. I don't know why I did what I did. He was cute, and I don't know why. Yeah, that scene's made weird by the fact that they let you pet him before the choice, before the non-choice to pet him, that they get weirder about. Yeah,
yeah. You're kind of hitting on it.
Redline's quiet for a second. Then his paw traces against my hand. It's slow, and it's trembling. Hold his hand, you fucking idiot. I take his paw. It's still shaking, but it settles a bit in mine. His tail's going crazy, though. Redline lets out a shaky sigh, but stays silent, his thumb tracing the backside of my hand. He feels so scared, but the longer we stay like this, the calmer he gets. Sorry, close your eyes. I don't really question it. I think I know what's coming. I think I'm okay with it. I close my eyes. Red, you... Just then I feel a quick kiss on my cheek. I open my eyes and look at him. He's smiling, still leaning in close. Redline whispers in a low voice. I meant what I said earlier about you being cute. I can smell the drinks on his breath and look back to the ocean. You're just drunk. Redline laughs a little and his grip tightens. They're non-alcoholic, I'm pretty sure. I turn the bottle nearest to me and read the label. Huh. And my hand is released. So, were the other fights good?
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it a little bit. Like, it's the fact that Redline is like super openly sexual, and he's like drunk right now, or at least a little bit drunk, and like he's being very coy and sweet with Xander, as opposed to like how he behaves with like everybody else, assumedly, where he's just like, oh, like more casually like sexual with them. Something about it feels like he would like come on too strong to Xander, and then later on like kind of like grapple with those feelings a little bit more. Maybe.
Yeah. No, yeah, it does. You're onto something there where it feels a little weird that they're like having one. I was tackling from a different angle, which is I was currently thinking about how like it feels like we didn't really like build to this because it doesn't feel like they were actually getting closer in a way that would build to like a tender scene. And you kind of figured it out, which is that like what feels intuitive is that since Xander is so emotionally closed off and so shitty internally to Redline and isn't really that nice to him externally either, you would think that Redline would categorize him how he does everyone else that he's, and like just like this way that like he just expects everyone that here to basically use him. And so you would think that he would be extremely sexually forward with Xander at some point, thinking that's just what Xander wants from him and that's why he came here and stuff, and just like them having to like reconcile like that dynamic and like
exactly
like
that would have been pretty cool to see.
Both like Redline reckoning with the fact that he's like approaching people this way and that's become normal to him, and how weird that can be if you are dealing with even a slightly different context, like just somebody from outside that ecosystem, I guess, like Xander
exactly
kind of is. And then Xander would have to reconcile with the fact that like
he's been shitty to Redline,
is acting like the fact that Redline would think that of him and would not think that he'd want just a friendship or relationship or anything, but just think that he just wanted to use him, and think that's what Xander wants from him. And then Xander would have to reconcile with some level that he's like exactly like everyone he hates here.
Yeah.
And he's just as bad as all of the people that he internally is complaining about, because like he doesn't come across as any more like friendly or like untoxic or like just like he's not a positive masculine figure in this weird little bunker. He's just a weird shitty person that so far.
So that was 100% what I wanted to say or analyze. So like you totally nailed it.
Yeah.
And I think going back to what I was saying earlier about like there was something kind of like awkward and like uncomfortable to me. It was that. It was just like that arc of the story was a little bit missing, which made me kind of
it's realizing that they've set up such
going.
a standard for how Redline interacts with the rest of this population over the last couple of chapters, and how that's at odds with Xander, but in a way that's not earned, because he doesn't have a developing relationship with Xander that would like make him an exception. So you would think that we would get a face full of that behavior, which would be interesting character drama to deal with. Great. Because otherwise, Redline...
This doesn't feel earned, really.
Because, like, well, one, it sets up two potential plot lines, or both of them, which is, one, it's just setting up reasons for Xander to have to fight people that are harassing Redline. And that's just kind of tropey and whatever. It's just like, it makes Redline's characterization just foreshadowing for future conflicts with other characters. The alternative being that it's the kind of condescending storyline that happens, which is that like the idea that like sexually active people have to be like saved from their own behavior because something's wrong with them, and you need to like rescue them from their life.
Shaming.
It gets that stuff gets iffy. Like it's the thing I already had in mind, because like there was the I have a billion visual novel ideas all the time, but like one of the ones I had for a short story at a jam was just an idea of like somebody who has a really depressing office job just going to like a furry convention and just trying to like have a good time and trying to be casual and trying to get the most out of it, despite all the logistics and complications and mess that comes from, you know, being at a convention and all the shared hotel rooms and all that stuff. And I was going to let this guy finally think that he was going to just like get it on with like the nice guy character that was kind of hovering in the background throughout the storyline. And this fucker was going to say the wrong thing that implied something along the lines of like, you know, you don't have to do that, right? Like you don't have to be like that, like implying that like there's something wrong with like like implying that there's something wrong with like the observed sluttiness of the protagonist, who has ironically probably not actually successfully had any good times all weekend. And then that immediately ruining the interaction and him just taking off because this person looks down on him for being perceived as less, as like being looser than them, stuff, and that how like that's just such a weird, shitty way to treat people for being sexually active. There's a lot to unpack.
Well, that's a sad story. That's very tragic.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the other fights. They were fine. Nothing really to write home about. One guy got a cartwheel kick knockout.
Oh, these are the fights of the other people before him. Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Jesus, why hasn't Bucky taught us how to do that? Probably because he knows you'll go for it in a real fight. Redline laughs and lets out a sigh, leaning forward against the railing. We watch the waves in silence for a bit. Hey, Xander? You think you'll be doing this forever? Fighting, I mean. I don't know. I guess I kind of have to. If Bruce is my opponent every time. That's kind of a short term forever. I don't think that's going to last that long. That I'd use the word forever. And then even in the terms of like a career and stuff like that, I don't think any fighters go forever, even by most adult career standards, because of how much it destroys your body.
I mean, Bruce had put an end to it before that. Like, even if he has to take it into his own hands, he would just like figure out a way to like get this done, you know?
But also, I don't think most people, when they say forever, are referring to, you know, something that you'll be done with by the time you're 40, because you can't do it anymore, most likely. Until you kick his ass or he retires. Right. Any day now. What about you? I don't know either. Don't get me wrong. I like doing what I do here. Fighting is fun. Or at least it was? I don't know. It's not really what I expected.
Okay.
This feels familiar. What did you expect? Another sigh. I don't know. Fighting was a lot more fun when I was doing it for fun, you know? I liked staying fit, I liked spending time with my friends and family. I guess I can't do that anymore. Why not?
Because of the contract, dude.
I mean, I'm down here, aren't I? People always said you have to be dedicated and do what you love and all that, and here I am, miles away from my friends, and he shakes his head. Sorry. Well, do you love fighting? I do, but it's like, I'm not doing it because I love it. I'm doing it because I have to now. Monetize your hobbies. Brought to you by Squarespace. Anyway, looks directly into camera. Just kidding. No webcam here. Is there anything else you'd rather be doing? I don't know. Yes, but I don't know what. Maybe I could have joined the band my buds invited me to, or maybe I could have done more photography or done something with fighting games. Just, it's hard to tell if I fucked up, you know? I sigh. I know. I do have one goal, at least. Yeah? Yep. I want to be the best fighter down here, and I don't get so good that they put me in charge.
What?
And I'm going to make some changes.
You fight your way to CEO?
That's an extremely...
That's fucking awesome.
That's an extremely shonen interpretation of how companies work.
That's
like,
great.
Like you get to become the new Vince McMahon by just beating people up enough. Like that's how companies...
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh my god. But that does further indicate that he probably knows his dad is the boss. Because otherwise, what the fuck are you talking about, Redline? And I'm going to make some changes. Like bigger rooms, and more vacation days, and hot water in the showers. They don't have
that all sounds good.
They don't have hot water in the showers?
Nope.
I thought he was covered in steam in his naked sprite.
He brought the steam with him.
BYOS.
No, I totally agree, and I think that they mentioned. I think Zander and Redline both mentioned Steam.
I feel like they would. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And healthcare and better pay, and let people use the internet.
Well,
and more than 2 washing machines. And I'm gonna make them use 4 eggs in the omelets again. It's weird to see the number 4 in the middle of a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, these are mostly things that have never been established before that were problems in the first place. I'll fix shitty situations like yours and give Bucky a raise. You just want to be in charge so you can beat him up without getting fired. Shush, you weren't supposed to figure that out. We laughed for a bit. Okay, but I meant what I said, though. One day, I'm gonna run this place. Then I'm gonna extra be doing it because I have to. And I'm gonna fix everything.
One day, my dad, the commissioner, who is my father, that you've seen in a photograph, is going to put me in charge.
The commissioner's just watching this conversation play out, apparently.
Oh my god, he might be, actually.
Well, he is. That's why there's an ellipses from him. It just, like, did the...
You're right.
I was gonna say shifting diegesis, and I don't think that's actually an applicable term. But, like, it's... If this was a movie, it would be... It would have been slowly panning out from Redline and Xander, and then suddenly the, like... RGB grid would have kind of like blurred onto the screen a little bit, and you would have pulled out of the glass of the screen into the commissioner's office.
Yeah. No, I know what you're thinking of. A shifting diegesis is when you drop a featherless chicken in front of somebody.
Nope.
All right. I've loosed the commissioner, right? I remember it. Is that how it is then?
Was that the voice?
That was the voice.
Like a very strange version of "Hey, Peter."
Exactly. Oh, what? Cool. All right.
It's
Looks
what
a
it
lot different
like.
than I expected to.
Yeah, just
All right.
unceremoniously
I like
just cutting directly to his full, just unhinged appearance. Huh.
He needs a tailor for that suit, though. That's ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah. It's it's skin tight. It's like, Jesus Christ. That's a manosphere suit right there.
I mean, honestly, putting that thing
items
on
know how to
bus
wear
seems
suits.
every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manosphere.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, everyone in the manosphere just no idea how to wear a suit. Nightmare. The commissioner sighs, eyes glancing to a screen on the wall filled with spreadsheets and reports, the viewing data from tonight's fights.
With numbers like that, you won't be getting very far.
6-0? Pretty good.
Yeah.
In fact, the title might be about Redline. Because Redline's undefeated. It might be like a dual meaning. It's like fucking because you think it's about Bruce because he's the guy that's the tank you have to fight and he's undefeated. Haha. But Redline's undefeated. So there's a little bit of like a fucking, I don't know, Neville Longbottom going on where it's like, oh, maybe he was the one the prophecy was about. Because he matched the entire
prophecy.
Yeah, well, I meant like in Harry Potter, there's a prophecy about the chosen kid or whatever, and the fun fact behind the scenes or whatever that people pick up on is that the entirety of it also matches Neville Longbottom, who is also there the whole time and also kind of does fulfill the prophecy too. So it's unclear which one it was. Swallow a little Spittleton.
Nice.
It's like unclear exactly who it was talking about as a result.
That being said, I don't know what these numbers are referring to, right? Because he said he was looking at a spreadsheet or something. I kind of assumed it was the financials of the company. But yeah, I guess you're right. It probably is Redline, huh?
Yeah, if he's talking about Redline not going that far, so he's talking about his numbers. And I'm like, well, he's won every fight. You just aren't giving him any. Dad. But he's 6-0, I think now. Like he's undefeated. So that's just weird to say.
Well, let's see. But not to worry, Red.
He snaps his fingers and a very exhausted looking rabbit comes to its attention. Why is this your dad voice? I guess you didn't know it was you gave it to the dad in Glory Hounds, although you didn't know it was his dad when you did it this time.
Yeah, this is my I will it into existence. Much like Zander wills people into existence.
You make people dads.
I make characters into dads.
I don't have any kids. Are you sure about that?
Oh god, it's like a superpower that I use like some dramatic moment. Like at the climax, it's like look inside yourself and discover you were a dad all along.
Sir?
No, you are my father. Anyway, Theodore, do we have the roster set for next matchmaking day?
Yes, sir, though I don't think Redline is on it.
Bring it here, please. I have a few changes I'd like to make.
Is he going to further sabotage him?
I guess so.
Is he just giving him impossible opponents to break him and kick and make him quit being a fighter? He's just like a really shitty dad.
No, he's doing it out of love because he can't fire his kid.
He definitely rigged the last fight to be against somebody 50 pounds higher than him. Like, that was on purpose.
Yeah. So he's trying to rig it so that his kid leaves because he can't fire his kid because that's I'll get back to you on what I think that means. So I just hit buttons.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't these guys do like some superpower shit?
They gotta get Super Meter first. Fighting games. Bruce and Redline are stationed in the game room, or at least that's what Redline calls it. There's actually a few multimedia rooms down here, all along the sides of the hallway leading to the immersion chamber.
Okay.
Surprising that we're learning now.
I was gonna say
we've been down here a while.
We played all this stuff in Redline's room, but yeah, I guess we got a streaming service and game consoles. Hell yeah.
Each one has a big TV hooked up to some streaming services, as well as a bunch of game consoles.
You have to be a tier 2 fighter and win 3 fights to unlock one of these rooms or something. Oh my god, there it is!
Unfortunately, these rooms are off limits to anyone below tier 3, but Bruce managed to sneak us in.
Oh, Bruce.
What is this hierarchy? So what is the purpose of it? You don't get to have Netflix until... and Netflix is for closers.
And also, it's never established how you go up or down a tier. I don't know.
Fight gooder?
I guess so.
Get arbitrarily assigned by the commissioner who hates Redline.
Yeah.
A new video, I guess he hates both of us. He just preemptively decided to hate us because he's ruining our life on purpose, obviously. A new video game just hit the shelves, and some top fighter took a day off to pick a bunch of copies and bring them down for the rest of the guys. How many copies do you need? How many consoles are there to use the copies on?
Well, they said there were multiple multimedia rooms.
This is the sound of men enjoying a video game, I guess. Is this new to you? Sounds more like
I mean, he's used to playing games in complete silence, right?
Yeah. Look at these weird guys going, ah, and stuff. Someone spikes a controller after an especially devastating round. I'm glad there's so many of them. No one's noticing that Bruce is hanging with Redline over here. The screen flashes bright colors as the huge crocodile guy pulls a heavy machine gun out of his trench coat, completely destroying Redline's character. A fair thing for a fighter to do. Gun.
It's in an awesome fight, yeah.
I just found out that they're adding the protagonist of Resident Evil, Final Fantasy 16 to Tekken.
Okay.
He's gonna still have the sword. I don't know if you've played Tekken before, but that seems upsetting for a character to add a sword character to Tekken. I've never seen anyone have a weapon in Tekken before. That's like
it worked for Smash Brothers.
Yeah, like you put him in Smash Brothers or Soul Calibur. It's just like putting a guy with a sword in Tekken feels so inherently wrong to me. Like, what? And the sad thing is, if you don't like that choice, you're like, well, good luck. He's just part of the online ecosystem forever. Like, whenever an Overwatch character is added, you're like, well, fuck you. It's permanently part of the game now. Get used to MAGA. What the fuck? Who taught you to do that?
You did, dummy. I think.
Why did you say that with the tone of like, not?
It had an exclamation point. It was a different sentence.
Redline drops his
like
controller.
Voltaire, man.
Like Voltaire? What the fuck are you talking about?
I think, therefore, I am.
That's not. How dare you? How dare you say that's Voltaire? Red drops his controller in shock as the crocodile character does a winning animation. It's kind of cool. Fuck. Go again. Horbuns just drew a crocodile doing a winning animation on Toaster's face. The laughing is only drowned out by the cacophony of rage and excitement from the other tier 3s across the room. The two were battling it out intensely for a short while. It's hard to imagine Bruce has ever played this before today. He's apparently doing something right. It looks like he's just mashing buttons, but then again, it looks like Red's doing that too. Maybe I should have been paying attention to his explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Granted, literally, fighting games are literally impenetrable.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing someone can tell you that's gonna help up front. Like, you have no language or grammar to process a single thing that's happening. It's just,
Could have made an attempt. But
no, yeah, he's a bad friend.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Redline's arms right now. I've been drawing arms lately, and they're really hard. And I'm just like, look at these nice, simple curves that make up the shoulder, then the bicep, and then the forearm, and the forearm has that like meaty bit sticking out. Look how those hands don't have distracting weird fingers. They look normal-ish, and I'm like, man, how do people draw? I've been doing it all month, and it's really fucking hard. And that's the hardest part. Is like just the arms and hands are so fucked up.
I think that one thing that people tend to overlook is how to draw wrists, especially because they're pretty complicated, and when you get it right, it makes a lot of other things like click and look a lot better.
Yeah.
This is the way they kind of protrude out, and from a forearm is like a little unintuitive until you like really look at it.
They're extremely strange.
Yeah. It looks good though. Looks
They're
really
both
cool.
They're both pretending to be
You also
really
use stable
intense.
diffusion.
But I'm finally with that. But I'm familiar with that determined look on Red's face. I've seen it in training. I saw it in his fight with Jesse 2 weeks ago. He gets that whenever he's working hard, but also having a lot of fun at the same time. There's a smile there underneath those gritted teeth. Well, that's a face. and this one's his cocaine face. a rarer Redline sight, but quite the treat if you get the chance. He doesn't need to get that competitive. Bruce doesn't know how to play.
Apparently he does.
He just did a super. That's not impressive. Well, not anymore. Now that Bruce somehow managed to win a second in a row. Are you fucking kidding me?
This croc's pretty cool. What'd you say this game was called?
Give me the run back. And there they go again. Red tapping away on the big, weird box of a controller. Bruce clutching that way too small of a controller Red lent him. It says Mad Cats on the top. God, his hands are massive. That controller fit fine in my hands, but it looks like it was made for kids in his grip. Grip me. The further the match goes on, the more aggressive the two are getting. Red's tapping gets faster, Bruce's grip gets tighter. Pressing buttons faster isn't how fighting games work.
But pressing them tighter is.
I mean, I grip the controller when I get tense or whatever, but it's like,
death grip.
I definitely hurt my hands playing fighting games, but pressing buttons faster does not in any way help, and he knows that. I can hear the plastic bend and creak as he moves and turns his wrists until both Red and Bruce snap to look at the chunks of plastic in Bruce's hands.
Fuck.
Oh no.
God fucking damn it.
He drops the broken controller, standing up and letting it fall to the floor. Red pauses the game and sets his joystick down. Hey man, it's okay. Bruce is fuming, stomping in circles off to the side, cursing under his breath until Redline steps in his path. Luckily, something happened on the big screen right as Bruce snapped, so the rest of the fighters don't seem to notice.
He wasn't this upset when he stepped on Zander. He was fairly upset, but damn. On the hierarchy, we see Controller and Xander's relative positions, huh? Nah, maybe he's just grappling with it and he's like growing. I don't know. Sorry, I'm such a fucking monster, Red.
It's fine, Bruce.
It's not. I broke your shit.
It's okay, man. I've got another spare.
Yeah, but
Most of my games are two-player anyway, so it's not like we're going without a controller. That's why we have a spare.
I guess.
Spare me you're patronizing. The two wander back to their seats, Bruce grumbling a bit.
Funny.
Where was this kind of remorse when he broke my ribs? I guess he does have a reputation to uphold when the cameras are rolling. Doesn't mean it stings any less. It's funny because we can tell there was remorse, just very obviously, because he gave a look like, what the fuck? And also, like, he carried us back to the room and stuff like that. Like we have so much information to work with that Xander's not... Actually, I think Xander did basically process that was him, I thought.
I don't know, but he also said he wouldn't thank this person or something like that.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, on its face, this is just how boxing works. Everyone knows that there's kayfabe. A little bit, right? Everyone knows there's a performative element to it.
Yeah.
That part continues to baffle me.
That was months ago at this point, but I still feel a little pain whenever I take a deep enough breath. I should bring that up with Drayden. Yeah. Yep. Probably. What, did he leave something in there?
Let me pull my toenail out from between your ribs real quick. So, what else do we have planned?
You can use my joystick if you still want to practice.
I'll pass. I don't want to break more of your stuff.
You're fine, man. It happens. I swear, I've seen more broken controllers by guys my size. Although they're usually... Smash. Another fighter spikes the controller into the ground and starts arguing. Something about screen peeking? They're playing shooters? Yep. Throwing their controllers into the ground. Bruce, you're fine, I promise. He lets it aside.
I'm sorry, little buddy. I'll steal you one from FANG. Wink at camera.
Please don't.
I mean, clearly they've got reserves.
I assume they'll have to pay for those.
You'd be surprised what they let top tiers get away with down here, Zander. One time, I stayed up past my bedtime, and my coach got pissed.
That happened to you too? They both crack a smile.
Yeah, man, it sucked. He let me off with a warning and a slap on the wrist, but if I was tier 1, he would have snapped my neck right there.
I don't understand the story.
I'm just letting it go. I'm just letting it go for now.
They just said there's no curfew, like, last chapter.
Yeah.
Not if I snapped his first. It's also like...
Thank you, Zander.
It's also like...
the first time I've agreed with what you've ever said.
Yeah. It's also just like, you'll never believe what they let you get away with down here. Like, he leans in really close. They let you stay up past your bedtime. I'm like... Are you a child? What the fuck?
They let you step on people's ribs and
you don't even go to prison.
Them.
What the fuck are you two talking about?
Just going over what would happen if I stole a controller.
Or if you go out past your bedtime, which doesn't exist.
Which they've done a lot.
Yeah. That's literally how they met in the weight room. Xander was getting up at night and going to get on the treadmill and stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have bedtimes? And can't you just buy him a new controller? Bruce rolls his eyes.
I'm so fucking confused right now.
I don't know what the bit is.
It's like I don't know. I gotta move on. It's like they're at a slumber party and they're like, our parents are gone. We can stay up until midnight tonight or something. Like, what is exciting about this? Well, yeah, if you want to be lame about it, where's your sense of adventure?
It seems to be some kind of in-joke. It just doesn't land because when you're reading it, you intuitively think it's just actually about the rules down here. I might be better off stealing one if that's the result. You're not exactly built for stealth, Bruce.
Maybe that's exactly what I want you to think.
He winks as Redline does an overdramatic gasp. I'm glad they're at least getting along. Redline was quiet a few weeks
least?
ago. Haven't they always gotten along the entire story so far? Yeah. But since then, we've been seeing Bruce more and more often. It's a little awkward, but he always manages to find a way to make it seem like a coincidence. His buds just happen to sit next to us at meal times. He's always somehow working out near our schedule, and now this little gaming session. I'm glad I don't have to be scared of him anymore. I can at least admit that. We've even been getting a little closer since Red's fight. Turns out he and I are actually from neighboring cities. It's weird to have the narration say that their characters have progressed essentially, and they're getting a relationship 100%. Instead of writing that.
Yeah, no, I was 100% thinking that too, of like, that would have been fun to see, but I say that a lot.
Like, yeah, I'm just like, isn't that what the story's about, essentially? Is the relationship between these characters, so we shouldn't hear about it happening off screen.
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't really like the advice of show don't tell too much, but like, it feels like very often things are told that should be shown and things are shown that should be told. Like, very often, really. Like, that's just one of them, but...
FANG made up some
because
fake
that also
info.
would have been a good backstory, right? To be like, oh, here's the two cities. Here's lore about the two cities.
Yeah. I don't think we know anything about their home.
Layup. Yeah.
FANG made up some fake info for his public bio in an effort to make him more mysterious, but we both think it's because they don't want to advertise a champion that's coming from a shady town.
Okay.
Shady. We would never want to imply that the guy who's good at fighting was from a dangerous place.
I know. You know who's fucking defeated?
You want to imply he's from San Francisco. That's where all the good fighters are born.
Oh, man. Bruce comes from a very mysterious upper middle class family from Beverly Hills.
I don't understand. What do you mean? What do you mean? You didn't want to imply that you're the best fighter in your entire MMA group is from a dangerous town. Isn't that
you didn't want to imply that. You didn't want to imply that he grew up with 4 brothers and had to learn to be the toughest one in a street gang or something like that.
Yeah,
like. God damn it, you can make up anything you want.
They make it sound like they're applying the logic of like being in a K-pop band or something.
Yes.
Like you can have never done ever done a single drug ever, and you're not allowed to have a girlfriend. And I don't trust him.
That's a very apt comparison.
Yeah, no. Like it's so scandal adverse that it like reminds me of like all the times like, oh yeah, we had to recast this actor in Yakuza, so when we made the remaster, we literally replaced the entire actor throughout the entire game with a new character model based on a new actor who's fully voiced again from scratch, and we had to make it look like period accurate for the graphics of the era and so on. Like all that work to replace someone, and then you look up what they did, and it's like, they did a cocaine maybe? And that's the scandal, and their career's over now, and you're like, Japan, are you okay?
Yeah, it's weird stuff. You know what's also weird stuff is it's now clicking to me that Xander is aware that Bruce has a fake bio. Like, so again, he should know. A
bio we've never read.
That stuff is fake. That stuff is like acted out. And he's like, I don't trust him fully because of his fake. Because he revealed that his bio is fake, but. Oh my god. Okay, keep going.
I don't think the trust and bio are related. I think he doesn't trust him fully yet because just being that he just in general he doesn't like him still.
Yeah, I know that part, but like it should be that. What I'm saying is like again, he should be aware of like how much of this is like all acted. Whatever. Keep going.
I don't trust him fully just yet, but at least now the threat of him ripping my head off in public isn't present as much.
True. Well...
He stands up to stretch, ruffling Red's hair as he follows suit.
Got any other ideas?
I can run up and grab my other controller.
We just have been over this. Nah, I'm all video gamed out.
Yeah, and I've got to head to an appointment. Ooh, Xander's in trouble. I'm gonna see Drayden. It's not like I'm getting called to the principal's office.
What'd you do, Zan? Rob a bank? Steal a controller?
He's been staying up past his bedtime for months now.
I thought we raised you better. For shame.
Mpreg. I'm leaving. They laugh as I finally manage to get away, reaching some peace in the quiet hallway. Okay, maybe a bit too quiet. I hope they at least find something to keep them entertained. This is the first time I've had an appointment to see Drayden in a while, even for anything medical, thankfully. I bumped into him in the halls a few times, though, and the cafeteria, too. He's usually accompanied by Bucky, but that might just be a coincidence. And they were roommates. Zander is so bizarrely gay blind. It's always just a weird experience in any visual novel when there's like something that's meant to be implied to the audience that the character's not going to get, that you're inhabiting the entire time.
It's wild, I know.
Yeah. Maybe I can grill him about the reasoning for that as payback for how pushy he is regarding my well-being.
I mean, when you wrote your visual novel, you talked... I know. You talked about this, like, the other way is usually super compelling, right? Where the character is speaking very confidently about stuff that they know that the audience doesn't. This is, like, the opposite of that, and it's like...
Something's really obvious, but the character's like, I don't know what that could be.
Yeah,
like, what?
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
That'll show him for being a doctor. Drayden's already in his office when I get there. The only thing separating this room from any other room is some kind of oil diffuser. It's sitting on his table, shooting out an unjust amount of vapor.
Oh man, Drayden!
Objection!
Are you fucking serious? What is it? What is happening?
Why is he talking in italics?
Hello, Zander. Thank you for meeting with me today.
He's speaking in an overly calm tone. Are those sweatpants?
I'm trying something new. What do you think?
Sure inspires confidence.
What the fuck is happening?
I fan some of the vapor away from my face. Hotboxing your patients is one way to get them to calm down, yeah. The doctor laughs and adjusts the diffuser.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading these sentences and I just...
You're trying to just brace yourself for where this is going. It feels like
I've been
coating a hospital room with whatever this is might be bad. It's like a weird space to be doing this in.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird space to be unbelievable. I've been trying to make therapy sessions more enticing. You'd be surprised how many men down here could use it.
You know, I really don't think that would surprise me at all. Another laugh as Drayden crosses a leg and leans back in his chair.
I suppose you and I do see the same sort of people day in and day out, because there are no other people.
I guess so. You just don't have to deal with them being aggressive in the gym.
Oh, there's been a few folks in the med bay that require some added security. You know how grumpy some men can get after a loss.
Was that a jab at me?
Yeah. Oh, no, not at all. Sorry,
Security! Security! I chuckle, shifting in my seat. I'm just teasing.
Stop that! It scares me.
The two of us giggle. It feels nice to have this alone time with him, but...
What?
I guess we should get started.
Okay.
It's the most he's ever... I feel like it might be the most he's ever expressed the idea of enjoying somebody's company and desiring it.
Yeah. Yep.
And also, he giggled, which is not a word I'm ready to associate with Zander.
I guess this is the character growth people have been telling us about, and there it is.
Yeah, character growth is one
Jab
day.
me in the face.
One day you just start writing a character differently.
Of course. What brings you into the appointed time?
I guess I want to talk about my dad.
Did something happen since our last session?
Sort of, yeah. I got a text from him. At first I was excited because it meant I wouldn't have to talk in person, but he just told me to call him.
Ah, that's, not very useful.
Right? He was always like that, wanting to talk about things face to face. I guess it's not really a bad thing, but sometimes I would just fuck up, you know? It happened with my mom, too.
Can you give me an example?
I got a call from your teacher. Can you explain your grades? I don't know, class is hard. Look at me when I'm talking to you. You need to get it together. Your cousins graduated with a perfect GPA, and your father and I did too. Everyone?
Wow.
That's a lot of valedictorians.
God damn, he comes from a smart fucking family.
What the fuck? I'm sorry. Sorry? Is that really the attitude you want to have? I am so sick and tired of... Look at me. She'd always hit the table when she got mad.
She has to be lying about the GPA thing, right? Like, that's gotta be it.
I don't know.
I know.
And is it... Also, is it, like, adjusted GPA or non-adjusted?
Well, I mean, when is this story supposed to be set?
I don't know. I just mean, like, I had some fake 4.0s because I would get, like
yeah,
things that were worth more than a 4, and then I'd not get an A on something else. So like that.
You know, I'll give some credit to the author that by saying perfect GPA, they've kind of sidestepped pinning a hard number to it.
Yeah. You're not even trying anymore. I'm sick of it. Well, do you have anything to say? Or are you just gonna stand there looking sad? I can't say sorry again. She'll keep slamming the table. And next time it might not be the table she hits. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
Xander?
I don't know what to say. Whenever people get mad, I freeze up. It happened with Mom and Dad, it happened with the Commissioner, it happened when I first met Bruce. And whenever it happens, Why are you mad? It's your fault it got this bad in the first place. I don't know what to say, so I stay quiet. But if I stay quiet, they get mad. And when they get mad, I want to apologize. And if I apologize, they don't accept it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they wanted from me. I'm sorry. This better not come up again, understand? Yes.
So, you would lock up whenever faced with that intense fear?
Yeah. There's a joke about looking at like a deer in headlights.
Nice one. I wasn't about to say it, but...
He scribbles a little more down, keeping that one for later.
That is what it comes across as. I'm telling Bucky this one later.
One more for the joke book.
So, you sometimes have trouble talking to someone that's yelling at you. I think that's perfectly normal. And I take you've tried to approach it over text since you struggle with these kinds of face-to-face interactions?
Yeah. But I might have gone a little overboard, I guess. You're finally home. Yeah, I got your texts. I'm sorry. That's what you said in your texts about 100 times, too. I'm sorry. You overreacted again. You need to get your attitude in check. Sorry. Stop it. Stop making excuses. That's not an excuse. You always do this. You freak out and overreact over nothing. Are you scared of me? You think I'm going to hurt you? Yes. I'm not going to kill you because of a bad grade. My body tenses up when I hear the garage door open. When you beat the table in front of me, it makes me wonder what would happen if it wasn't blocking me from you. I have to stay up late and listen to your footsteps to stop before I can leave my room so I don't have to feel you look at me. Don't look at me. I fucking hate you. Please don't look at me. Don't you feel safe with us? Children feel safe. Children that feel safe don't hide themselves away. If I felt safe, I wouldn't be apologizing. If we're such awful people, you can go live with your friends. You said that once. Look how you turned out when I actually left. Stop crying, you're so sensitive. I take a deep breath. Ground yourself. After a moment, I open my eyes and see Drayden. He has so much compassion, so much patience, so much forgiveness. I'm safe. I'm safe here. Sorry. I like to think I was a good student, and a good son too, I guess. But whenever I couldn't be perfect, they would go ballistic. It's stupid to admit, but it wasn't always really scary. It was over stuff that never really mattered. Grades, clothes, food, mess anything up, and they started slamming doors.
This is really good. This was really well written. In general, anytime these scenes have happened, I've really been impressed and like enjoyed the thoughtfulness of them.
Yeah, there's moments like this where it's really handled well. What throws me is how it's set up.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were like, wacky gaming session, wacky incense, and then just hard cut to this like family moment and trauma scene. And you're like, where I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know if there was much. This was technically set up slightly in that interactions with Drayden are set up and the text message happened, but given the series of scenes leading up to this moment,
closed,
just like given the series of scenes leading up to this one, it doesn't feel like we were ramping up to this, and it feels like this scene should be happening in response to some kind of inciting moment, like immediately.
Yeah, because I mean,
like Xander should have blown up about something, or at least should be, or like his reaction to the text message at the time should have been to like spiral down this thought pattern and give us that moment. Then maybe it just, I was very like, oh, we're doing this.
Here's what it is.
That was very startling. That we're just like, oh, we're doing this, and it's like it's good, but it's also why is it happening exactly now?
No, so what's Xander should have gotten triggered by people throwing and breaking the controllers, right?
Yeah.
And then this wouldn't be something that he runs off to as part of appointment. He would start genuinely freaking out in front of Redline and Bruce, and then they would start to realize, like, we've never seen him freak out like this way before, and then they would start to get very concerned.
That's actually an extremely good idea.
Yeah, and then he would, like, have a panic attack, and then maybe previously in the story he's had moments like this before and doesn't handle it this way. Like maybe this is a point of growth for him where he's having a panic attack, and what's different about this impulse is he does go to Drayden as part of an arc of him learning how to open up and like work through these problems.
It's actually
see, I can come up with plot ideas too.
You know, that's a good idea. Yeah. It's like in the scene where this is happening, like, of all people, like, Bruce is practically reacting more than anyone. It's like Bruce is reacting a lot to people's like breaking the controllers, and like Redline's eyes go wide a couple times. But
You're
like,
right.
Xander doesn't give a shit because he doesn't care about anything most of the time. But like in this scene, that would directly lay up this scene by having a situation where that would cause Xander to storm out and seek Drayden. Because as it's framed right now, it's just like, oh yeah, I have an appointment for character development.
Yeah,
Gotta go.
yeah,
And he just
exactly.
like walks into the character development room to just suddenly break into the scene with no prompting. So you're like, huh. Like the scene is working, but where did it come from? Like it just started all of a sudden as like a random thing, as if we like dropped the script and put them back together in a random order or something. Like the pages don't like lead to each other in a meaningful way. He literally is like, well, I got an appointment for a different scene, bye. And then he just walks into the scene and you're like, huh. There's definitely a way to set this up by having him have some kind of reaction that shows that he's like dealing with stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was like a layup, like just.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. He
intuitive.
was literally just experiencing people being weirdly violent at indirect objects because of their frustration at other people in a way that is exactly what he has trauma surrounding, as we know now. And it's surprising that those aren't linked with each other in the moment.
Well, he had an appointment, so his appointment was the link. Anyway, did they ever hit you?
No. He writes something down. But it felt like they were going to. One day near the end of sophomore year, I found out I was getting a bad grade in a class. Not failing, but not good either. I didn't know what they wanted. I was trying my best. I couldn't stay silent, so I just lost it at school. Sent them a fuck ton of texts apologizing, telling them I was going to be better. I wanted to be good for them. I didn't want them to be mad at me. It's such a stupid thing to have a breakdown over.
But it felt very real. You said it yourself. It felt like they were going to hurt you. I don't think that's a bad reason to break down. The threat of physical harm felt real. Even if it was over a D in English class or whatever.
It was a C in physics. Me! You're like me!
It was a C. Obviously worthy of assaulting your child over.
That managed to get a little laugh out of me. I wiped the beads of tears welling in the edge of my eyes. I never got a worse punishment than just some simple grounding or a lot of extra chores. I mean, I was still young, so that was the most they could do without it getting dangerous. It just felt like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. One day I was going to fuck up and they'd start swinging.
I'm thankful it didn't come to that. And these are the people you were trying to be perfect for. Wouldn't it be nice to put that energy toward people that care about you?
It's a bit jarring to hear that out loud. Yeah, I mean, this is the fucked up dynamic. It's like, not even necessarily the threat of physical violence, but just like the weird element of like, just the fact that like parents have such a specifically important role in your life as like, sort of like your weird anchor to reality and society and so on, and
exactly.
shelter. Like they're the people that are in the house that you live in, so like it's the space you retreat to. And so if they're just like very loudly and noticeably disapproving of you, even without a threat of violence, it's like that can like really fuck up your brain. Like you can make you very anxious about like who you are and what you're doing if your parents are just like that unhappy with what you're doing, even if there's not like the weird outbursts.
Yeah, no, it all makes a lot of sense. I feel like Xander is underplaying the threat of violence that was extolled on him too, because he's like, I never got like this worse, like these punishments, like more than grounding or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, I would rather be grounded than have people like slamming shit around. Like that's that's really rough.
Yeah, it's much worse. If anyone, if anything, there's almost like a playful, like adversarial thing where they're just like, well, if you don't get a B, you're gonna have to do more chores. Like you can there's like a dynamic that parents have sometimes that can be technically punishing over like grade incentives without actually making it
they pull it
dark.
Yeah, exactly. It's
my parents just paid me for grades. It wasn't even that much. It was just like you'd get like $5 or $10 an A or some shit like that. And it was like, yay, a video game. And I was like,
oh, that's nice.
Gamifying things a bit. That was the level of like engagement I had with grades overall. And I was on a roll for almost the entirety of all of school based on basically that, I guess. I
don't remember high school or grades really at all. I was talking to my parents about this on Christmas, which was yesterday. I forgot. And like they just kept asking me like, oh, have you kept up with this one person from high school and stuff like that? And I'm like, I don't think I remember that person existing. So I'm trying to think like if I had anything like grade incentives or otherwise, and like I don't know, but like I never really got encouraged or punished for anything because I just kind of skated by on B's and A minuses. Yeah. So like when people talk about like grade incentives or punishment, I'm like, cool, I believe that happened, but it never came up for me.
There are people who struggle in school and people who don't, and it feels arbitrary sometimes because I got through basically all of school without trying until college. Like
same, and then I hit a wall, and
like the only wall I really hit in school was the fact that I made it all the way to calculus, which I mean I say all the way.
Exactly.
You can get past. Some people get past calculus in high school, which is wild. But yeah, calculus I got a D in, and I was like, ugh, this fucking okay. And what really pissed me off
pre-calculus was my wall.
I did all right in pre-calc, but I definitely enjoyed it back when math was about intuitive, comprehensive concepts and like how fast is this thing going, or like how long is the shadow of this flagpole, and how calculate the inside of this fucked up shape. And it's like I guess with an integral you're technically calculating the fucked up shape of the underside of a curve, but in a really abstract thing where I don't know what the curve is even a graph of anymore. What was frustrating is that by the end of calculus, I'm pretty sure I had, because it's a linear class, I kept failing everything along the way basically, but because of the fact that I was there the whole time, like by the end I understood. By the time I was failing the last test, I was understanding the previous 80% of the class. So it's like the grade wasn't representative of my understanding of the class at that point because of how testing works. And it's like you have to catch up and figure things out.
That's how that whole subject works.
Even to continue failing, you have to catch up. So at that point, it's like the grade should be revised basically because it's just like not actually helpful. Like that's just not. That's otherwise. The other implication is that if you like, it has to work that way. You have to be catching up, because if you're not catching up, the implication is that you just get left behind at the beginning and you just sit there accomplishing nothing the entire year.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like with math, if you start to struggle within like the first third, the next 2/3 are kind of just a waste of your time. Yeah, and you should just get a tutor or something. But the system of schooling can absolutely not be set up that way whatsoever. Like that's just anathema to the way, just the resources and the structure of all of it, which is fine. I guess it is what it is.
I didn't try very hard, but it was extremely rare for me to even get a C in any class.
Same.
I think the only 2 classes I ever got D's or F's in ever in all of school were like my first attempt at calculus and my 3rd semester of programming, which is when I quit out of computer science and went to geology. I'm like, I just could not process what I was looking at some point when I was just trying to like make your fucked up program work. And it was specifically like the part of programming where you end up spending the entire semester working on one program that you keep building on each class. And
it's the same problem as math that we just discussed.
You have this like snowballing problem that you have to deal with, and it's just like you feel so trapped in your weird shitty program, and you're just like, I don't want to work the job that does this. This is torture.
And now you do RenPy.
Yay, it's easy.
It's mostly scripting though.
Renpai's
Or
hilariously
almost
easy, and everyone
scripting.
should do it.
Yep. No, that seems fun.
It's
Yeah, I could go into my math stories, but I think that they're not particularly interesting or different from what you just said. So
yeah.
yeah, we can just go on.
It's a bit jarring to hear that out loud. Do they care for me? I mean, they cared for me once, but now that I'm fully independent...
Aww.
Sorry.
It's a little sad now that we have a lot more context about it.
Yeah.
You have nothing to apologize for. With everything you told me, I think it's perfectly natural to feel the way you feel. They treated every little mistake like a life or death situation, and that's trained your mind to react like that to anything. Sure, someone could say it might have toughened you up, but is that worth it? Is it healthy to scare someone into submission? It feels like life has been very cold for you, Xander.
I guess. I still have trouble accepting that. My parents paid for my classes and everything, though. They gave me a lot.
They also threatened you with assault and kicked you out when you were 16. My God, Xander, you don't have to give them a pass for doing the bare minimum. It sounds like they went through the motions. Which isn't bad. There are some things a parent should do as a baseline. But I also think not making your child think you're going to beat them should be on that list. I'm not going to tell you whether or not you should forgive them. That's not a decision I can make. But when that time comes, I want you to ask yourself if they deserve all the energy you spent fearing them.
No. He laughs.
Well, I'm glad that's figured out. Therapy over. Okay, since we do have a break point here, I will say that the one thing I do think is a little odd about the way that these sections are written is that Drayden talks way too much. I've been through therapy sections. My therapist never talks like this way, like so kind of sharing thoughts back at me like that. Like, the whole point is that I arrive at conclusions that they are very gently guiding me towards. So this is a little bit weird to me, but whatever.
With my therapy sessions, I feel like I just talk too much and that I just genuinely just fucking take over the entire thing. And then by the end, I'm like, what did I do? Why did I come here? I'm like, I just paid $50 to just monologue at somebody. I already do that at my friends. Yeah. I owe you like $3,000, Bert.
Well, I'll send my routing number to you in a second.
Send this to make it out to Toaster and.
But really, they can claim their love for you, but that doesn't really cancel out their actions, right? It's not healthy to live with that mindset. Down here, people get hurt all the time. Bones break, cartilage tears, wounds open.
Bones are weird, Zander.
I know. Those can be repaired. But your parents, they hurt you, Xander. They've hurt you in a way that medicine can't fix.
So stop asking me. He pauses after saying that, looking straight into me. For some reason, tears reach my eyes. Yeah. They hurt me. I have to understand that. I have to stop making excuses for them. Drayden just looks at me. Please don't. I don't want you to see me cry. You cry a lot in front of Drayden and Xander. We're already past that. Something that I'm sticking with is just that I'm like, I kind of want to open the script file and just Control F the word sorry. I don't know.
I want to do it with the word awkward.
Well, no, for the opposite reason. And I'm saying like not to be like, wow, they use this word too much. I mean, like, I'm saying like, is saying sorry a trait of Xander's before this conversation?
I'm sorry, I forgot what Control F does for a second there, and I thought you said like Control X or like something to remove it.
No,
yeah,
I like looking for instances of the word sorry. I'm like, they're very clearly linking him saying sorry a lot with this flashback and this trauma.
He doesn't strike me as apologetic.
I don't
You're
think,
right.
yeah, I don't feel like he has been saying sorry until the scene. So I'm like, this doesn't really explain his behavior in a linear way, so much as just like graft a storyline onto him.
I would have to look back at the Bucky scenes, right? I think that's where it might come up, but it doesn't strike me as I've never felt like he's been apologetic.
He specifically says that this is the loop he goes into when people are mad at him. So I'm just trying to think, like, every time he's gotten like into a confrontation with some big bruiser or something, I'm like, I don't think he's ever like sorry at them. That's not been a thing.
No. Okay. When like he was the ass cooch, and he was trying Ryan 100%. What I was going to say is like, he didn't break down and start becoming apologetic.
Yeah.
When like Ryan,
and I think he was about to fight the guy before Bruce came in with the guy that was going after Redline.
Mm-hmm.
And he just like coils up as like he either says something really mean or is just dead silent, but like in a very aggro way whenever he was like confronting Bruce in various scenes early on. But it didn't really match up with this.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of goes back into what I was saying earlier as a way that you would prompt this scene with Xander having like a trigger from people breaking the controllers. That would have been a moment where Xander could have had like a moment, a meltdown would be in front of like Ryan, and Redline would be witnessing to that. And Bruce saw it as well. So both of them could see it and just kind of shuffle it into the back of their mind as like something that they notice as a trend in their friend. And like that could also be another thing is like maybe at one point Redline or Bruce softly confronts Xander and they're like, hey, I've been noticing that this happens. Like, what's up, man? Like that could be another thing. I don't know. That's a little tropey, but it could be there. I don't know. But the general thing that you're talking about is correct. I don't think I've ever seen him really be apologetic. I've seen opposite of that happening. You know, ignoring a cut doesn't make it go away, Xander.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
That's kind of how cuts work, actually.
I didn't want to say anything. Oh, okay. It gets infected. And the infection grows and it spreads. What kind of cuts? Oh my God. Okay. And it's been festering in you for so long, Xander.
He's really taking charge of the therapy.
Yeah, I know. It's quite wild.
Please stop. I have to close my eyes so he can't see me cry. I don't want to be his problem. I don't want this to be his problem. Why'd you come to therapy? Wait. But then...
I don't know.
His body presses against mine.
Oh, you can't do that as a fucking therapist.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's unfortunate phrasing because the brain immediately fills in affectionate male contact and not that he's like he's not the idea that it's like a normal hug or something because he's crying.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
His body presses against mine. Arms draped over my shoulders. Drayden is so soft, so delicate, but his hold is firm.
I'm sorry that you've been hurting for so long.
I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry that this hurts now.
I'm sorry.
But this is the only way the wound can start to heal.
Injects him. It has the weird energy of like when somebody's about to like when somebody hugs someone close to stab them in a show.
Just see the words like with like a hyphen and you hear like a and like the screen shakes. Oh man.
I'm sorry.
You're brave for coming to see me. You're brave for surviving. Thank you for being so strong for all this time.
No more. I don't need to hold back, and I don't think I can. I start sobbing into Drayden. All this ugliness, all this hate forced out of my body. My heart doesn't deserve that weight. It can't carry it. I don't deserve to carry it. I forced my heart to stay cold so nobody would come near, so I didn't have to be afraid of anything, of anyone. But Drayden's hug, his voice, his body, it's all so warm.
You're safe here, Xander.
I'm safe here. I'm safe. Those words scare me. I don't know what safe is, or maybe I forgot it too long ago. But here and now, I don't have to worry. Yeah, this is a weird scene. The
It is very weird.
In a vacuum, the writing of the scene should work. It's just that in its placement in the story, you're like, what? Because, like, this should have been a thing he was struggling with all game. In a more direct way. Like, obviously, we're like, toxic masculinity. Like, we're inferring on some level that his like shitty behavior towards people around him and his shitty attitude towards people in general is like informed by something like this, like some combination of his upbringing or just the way that men are socialized in general and so on. Just something's up with Xander, but in a way that's very normal, because this is how a lot of people are like, unfortunately. But this is like a very specific trauma, and he's like having like this catharsis that comes from this moment for him feels strange because it didn't really feel like a thing that was specifically weighing on him. He was just like, because it's actually really common for visual novels and a lot of stories in general to have like the text message from a parent that you're ignoring or something, and that's like that's the problem is that if you don't do anything else, then that only is foreshadowing that a scene will be acknowledging it later and nothing else. Yeah, and so you don't really get that much of it. You don't get enough sense that he's constantly like buried under this weight, and it's really fucking him up all the time. So this catharsis is like, there's a little bit of like, where's the scene coming from for like a dozen different reasons essentially, and like the scene isn't what needs to change, it's the surrounding game needs to change to accommodate this scene. This is like one of the scenes that's like worth writing the game for and stuff like that. Like this is like the goal. So like this, like things need to be better placed throughout the lead up to this. That would like, for a dozen reasons, like give it a better place in the story, have a transition to it that makes sense, and like like something that actually like is an inciting like incident for the scene, and also like have it be a thing that he seems to be struggling with on some level that's more apparent than what we got, which is more like confusing name thoughts and stuff like that that we don't know how to process and things. And a lot of that is just a lot of that comes down to just like cleaner emotions, like emotions that are less complicated and less like second guessing the emotions, and more just like committing to this is what he's feeling from time to time. Because like when things are written too unclearly, then the scene doesn't land. So there's been past scenes that might have been doing something, but it wasn't clear enough what we were supposed to think and what we're supposed to feel, and it's not really like the time for that. For like complexity, like there are things that can be complexity and open for interpretation, like themes and stuff, but like your character's emotional like core is not a thing that you should be like, oh, I don't know, what is he up to, how does he feel about this? It's like, that's the whole point of being him, is just knowing how he feels about things.
So I mean, to give some insight into like the way that I analyze like my own writing, and the way I would think about like this sort of story problem is that you need to have integrated your internal arc, like plot arcs, with your external ones. And so every scene is basically doing double duty. Like at a minimum, you need to be doing that. And the fact that it seems like it's more like a external arc scene happens, then an internal one happens, like not concurrently through like subtext or that sort of deliberate intersection between the two story threads that you want to have is what makes it like exactly what you're saying. Like it's hard to see things being built up cohesively. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I thought I could just get past it. I thought it would go away when I left.
That's... Okay, okay. Well, okay, so I got distracted because 175 is a very, very light amount of weight, but I will be gracious and remember that I think that was a warm-up to like a full set. So I'm not going to harp on that. You also tried to bench 175 when you were injured, and look at how that turned out. It's scary. I know it is. A lot of men are too scared to face it.
Drayden lets out a slow sigh, his hug staying firm.
I'm so proud of you for coming to see me, and for being so open. It hurts to pour your heart out like this.
The two of us stay there for a while as my sobs peter out, muffled into his jacket.
You need some space? I'll just keep going. I can...
As he pulls away, I hold him closer. Just a little longer, if that's okay.
Of course it is, Zander.
You're my dad now.
It's kind of weird.
A bit of time passes with some more encouraging words. I don't remember. My head always gets a little fuzzy with in therapy. Maybe it's the essential oils assaulting my snout.
I love it. That's fucking hilarious.
Maybe I'm having an allergic reaction to all this bullshit in the air. The tears are all tapped out at this point, so Drayden's back in his chair, writing something down on that clipboard. I'd like to see his notes sometime.
You can ask your therapist to see what they're writing about you.
Why did he turn the lights up?
So, are you all set?
I think so. I'm going to work on all this broken mess of a deer. The cat shakes his head.
Not broken.
Except whenever you visit me the other times.
Only the bones. Not a mess. I don't want to hear any self-deprecating language. You're not a mess. You're not something that needs fixing. You're a strong young man that's lived with a lot of pain, and now you're healing. Having a good positive mindset is very important in the healing process, Zander. Granted, it won't fix everything, but it's definitely going to help. And as for your freezing up issue, we could talk more on that in our next session. Though, it is interesting. Redline mentioned that you stood up for him before his fight, and he didn't even flinch. Are we gonna lampshade hang this? Really?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
oh my god. Oh,
are we
man.
acknowledging the apparent contradiction of that they haven't, like, successfully set up this trait because he never behaves this way in the game we're playing?
Come on, man. A lampshade hang is not what I wanted to see for addressing that.
Because that means you've noticed, but then you're not, like, you didn't, like, go back to, like,
you
reconcile
didn't fix it.
Yeah. That's right. With Cole. I guess it's easier when I'm defending someone I care about. It's like turning scenes that already happened into retroactive character arc over a problem that wasn't introduced until after the scene happened, and now we know that scene was supposed to be growth for a thing that we didn't know was his deal yet, I guess.
It's deeply frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Drayden gives a gentle smile.
That's very honorable. Let's see if we can get you to care about yourself that much too. Well, I would take another run at that line, but it's all right.
Care about yourself that much too. Yeah. That was the important words of the sentence.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about today?
Would you like to know more? I should maybe explore that a little more. Actually, yeah. A few weeks back, me and Redline were hanging out. He was getting really talkative and anxious, so I I don't know why I'm dancing around the subject. It's not like we fucked or anything. I'm like, that's the embarrassing thing. You're the only one who hasn't. It's been weeks? I didn't think that was going to be the case. It's been weeks since we were at the beach and he pet him.
I see. So, we did the commissioner thing, and then in that transition to the commissioner's scene, that took 3 weeks.
The scene going from the commissioner to gaming was like weeks apart.
That was another 3 weeks.
And I was like, what?
I am quite weird. Yeah.
Just pet him on the head like a dog. Drayden looks confused but happy.
Like a dog. All the time. That's... Dogs are nothing but confused but happy to be near a human being.
Every dog is always the, I can't fucking read meme.
Oh? Is that a problem?
No, it's not, I think. It's just confusing. I just did it off of instinct. I never had that instinct to do it before.
It sounds like you two have gotten a little closer since then.
Since then? Whatever.
I don't know.
I guess that is true. I just don't like seeing other people be mean to him. I don't have a clear picture of what he's got going on, but I know he's not doing well. I've had weeks to ask him since that incident even, and still haven't.
Mm-hmm.
If that big piece of shit Cole tries to make it worse, I'll send him to the med bay. Drayden laughs nervously and shifts in his seat.
As an employee who is also your friend, I'm going to choose to not have heard that. But I am thankful that you two are becoming friendlier. I think it's good for the both of you.
Yeah, I think so too. And I feel like I should apologize to him.
For what?
Just everything. I've been kind of an asshole for a while. I don't want to make a situation any worse. He smiles and writes something down.
Well, I don't think Redline would ever hold that sort of thing against you. And I kind of wish he did, but anyway. But if you feel compelled, I'm sure Redline would appreciate it. Oh, and of course, let me know if anything happens between you and your father. I'm always here if you need me.
I nod and make my way to the door. Thank you, Drayden. Take a deep breath and move on. I don't like thinking about that sort of stuff. It tugs at the hole in my chest, makes it feel like something's missing. Maybe things would be different. I didn't have to suffer like I did as a kid. Maybe I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, probably, man.
Bruce wouldn't have to worry about his job. But maybe Redline would still be living alone. A shudder creeps down my spine when that thought appears. I don't know how well off Red would be without me. That sounds a little selfish, but I can't help but worry about him. Him and his soft fur.
God.
Like he's gonna be hunted for his pelt. Fuck, right. Why did I pet him in the first place? He seemed so anxious. I couldn't just let him feel scared.
There's the answer.
It's the last thing he needs, especially with everything he's going through. Yeah, that's it. I was just trying to be nice. I don't...
Aww.
These characters are so tragic.
Mm-hmm.
How are you sharing a room with a hot man that you pet the other day after emotionally bonding with, and you've just never talked about it since then, or in any way processed that event? Like, what do you do? It's been weeks again?
It's just like...
I just can't... The time skips really make the character moments strange to me, because I'm just like... what do you do all the time if you're not in any way engaging with this? You literally sleep in the same room together. It's there had to have been so many more opportunities for some kind of tender moment, or even just moment of honesty, or any breaching of the subject, especially since Redline's a slut. He's just like, How come this is never
how come we've never had a scene where Redline brings a dude back to their room and Xander's like,
yeah, that's just easy
fuck,
fan
I gotta
service.
go somewhere else.
Easy fan service minus
know.
having to draw a sprite for a dude or a CG for them to walk in on. But like, it feels like we should be encountering Redline, like using the room and be like, oh fuck, and like some humorous fan service about them being roommates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I was just trying to be nice. So, why do I want to pet him again? Xander.
What is there to say, man?
Xander.
What is there
what
to
do you
say?
mean? Ever since
the 10th time you go through this in this story.
I know. You're
like,
so old
just,
to not understand what attraction is.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since that night, I've wanted to spend more and more time with him.
Do my fucking God,
do
you're
I
roommates,
like him?
man.
Pointing finger at finger. Do I like him? Ooh. I was like, it's been weeks, and you share a room.
I just want to.
Or do
scream.
I just feel some sense of friendship for the first time in forever? I have feelings for Redline. I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
Romance. I never really felt like it was for me. I threw out any chance of that happening when I got kicked out. Why?
I don't know.
What? I don't
know.
Huh. But it's been so long.
It's a weird thing to connect together.
Yeah, I don't know what that connection is.
It would happen if you
I've
got
been kicked
betrayed
out
by somebody that he loves, you know?
Yeah. But it's been so long, maybe I should try to pursue that. What's the worst that can happen? Red turns me down, and every interaction we have from that point on is horribly uncomfortable.
Oh, wow. It might be horribly uncomfortable. That's a fucking change of pace.
That's unlike your current dynamic. Yeah, that does sound pretty shitty.
To think that I look forward to playing this game sometimes between every week, because I'm fascinated. And then when I play it, I'm Xander. This story makes me Xander. I'm mad at this story, but then when I'm not playing it, I'm like, I wish I was playing it. Oh, it's a mirror. Anyway.
But he did mention that he thought I was cute. Maybe that was a way of telling me how he felt.
Unfucking real.
He could have been drunk too. You know he wasn't. Wait, no, those were non-alcoholic beers, right?
Unfucking real.
Just the thought of asking someone how they feel makes my stomach churn. I shouldn't care how he feels about me. Getting ahead of myself. Stop it. Why would you not care what he thinks about you? You currently are thinking about trying to date him. Of course you care what he thinks about you. I assumed that there was like, I could always be wrong, but I assumed that there was like an update, like the gap between two different Patreon updates or whatever was like, and like the commissioner scene and then the gaming scene, that was the cut.
I don't know.
Because the commissioner scene feels like a cliffhanger you would end on when you're going to stop for a while and be like, see you guys next time. I'll
possibly
get you next time, Gadget. So like maybe
I
that's
suppose
why
if we...
I'm just trying to... I was about to question like why he's recapping so much. I'm like, the scene happened 5 minutes ago. It's like the most recent emotional scene that happened before the one we finished. So he's like,
I don't know if Renpai like does this or makes it obvious, but it'd be kind of nice to see like a chapter card or something like that appear sometimes. Like this is like a hint, maybe.
You can 1000% make that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm recording Liar with the other group right now, and it literally does say like days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm getting too ahead of myself.
This is a musical moment.
Stop it.
Where's our I Want song?
Focus on the now and not red. Why? What is there to focus on that isn't red? You don't have a fight coming up. You're literally just spinning your wheels doing maintenance exercise, basically. This is the time to focus on red, who is your now. And also, it shares a room with you. Or a soft fur.
I have a really hard time feeling the time urgency in this game. Because, like...
we often don't know what time it is anyway. But also, like, right now, he just doesn't have a fight coming. So, like, there is no focus on the now. What would he be focusing on? There's nothing to prioritize higher than whatever is currently emotionally drawing him somewhere. He just has a
Yeah.
routine of doing exercises every day, which you literally can't do all day because you will ruin yourself. Like,
Yeah. I feel like what's really missing is like deadlines of some kind of like, oh, I have a couple of weeks before my fight, so I need to get to this goal before that happens or whatever. And like,
there's nothing in the
feels so
narrative right now
listless.
for him to neglect
Yes.
Redline 4.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or the way he giggles when he tells a stupid joke. I'm fucked. This is probably one of those things that won't go away without talking to him about it. I can keep a secret, but it's a lot harder when they're in your face all the time.
Except for the 3 weeks where...
Yeah,
Whatever.
you just because the time skip. Yeah. Maybe I can talk to Drayden about it. Wait, I was gonna ask Drayden about him and Bucky. God damn it. Also, maybe I can talk to Drayden about it. You just talked to Drayden about it. You just talked to Drayden about Redline. That's the most recent scene that happened. That would have been the perfect time to bring it up, too.
Are you
Next time,
sure?
then.
I don't know
Now
about that.
Now that I've been crying in your chest all day, can I ask about your maybe fireable offense office romance? Right now, though, I should probably get to lunch. Before I can get there, though. Zander! He's sprinting down the hall, impressively weaving his way through the various groups of people standing between us. Of course, most of them manage to hear his call and step out to the side before he accidentally barrels into them. Once he's close enough, he dives towards me. Thankfully, I'm used to this. I catch the hyena, letting his momentum carry us in a spin as I hold him close. Red has an apparent blush on his face and giggles a bit before he speaks.
I wonder how he feels about Zander. You're twirling in a hallway.
I got an email that says I need to be in attendance at lunch today. Is that a good thing? Yeah, usually. Usually means it's a surprise title fight coming up. My dad is signing me up to a thing that will kill me. That's the goal. Just gonna fucking murder me. I'm fighting Death Dozer. Sounds like a lightweight
He
name.
weighs 700 pounds, and he's
Yeah?
a whale.
And his cum. A surprise.
70,000 calories.
Call back. Oh god. A surprise fight. I suppose it has been a few weeks since his last one after all. But 4-0 and getting a shot at the title already?
Really? Okay.
Did anyone say that?
Nope.
He's getting a shot at the title? I don't understand. I don't know what that means. If we're supposed to understand the mechanics of that, I don't know what it is. I don't think it was matchmaking day yet. It's not. I mean, not for another week or something. Wouldn't they rather do it then? Not if it's a sudden replacement. Like how with my last fight, I got swapped in at the last minute. That's true. Almost like someone's actively meddling with your career behind the scenes or something and changing your fight schedule right before things happen. Well, whatever it is, it sounds pretty exciting. Red's already tugging my arm as if he's trying to sprint to the cafeteria. I managed to keep up. We both managed to find a seat pretty quickly. Red tore through the lines in an effort to get seated faster. You know, it won't matter how fast we eat. They'll announce at the same time regardless. The Yin looks at me with a mouthful of food, then swallows. Maybe they'll see how fast I'm eating and announce it sooner.
Good one.
He answers quickly, opting to shove more food in his face. The lunch goes on for a while, with Redline getting more and more anxious the longer it lasts. Your whines sound like those videos where a dog is waiting at the door for its owner to come back home. It's our anxious whine. Is it? I
Better
forget.
scritch between his ears. He's getting anxiety.
I forget. Is he half dog or is he a step dog dad?
I think he's all yin. I think if the
remember.
coin came up heads.
They laugh when they're anxious. I thought they touched on purpose with this drunken laugh fit that was like a Joker 2019 scene.
Yeah.
It's been passed down through our family for generations. Do you have any other sounds?
Uh-huh.
He proceeds to sample a few other wines. Those all sound the exact same, but with different lengths. Yeah, the length of the wine indicates the intent behind it. See, it's actually really interesting. I did some research on how sounds have evolved through... Ah, thank goodness.
Redline trails off.
He looks like he's about to explode. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying your lunch. I have a few very special announcements to make.
You're finally getting married?
I'm already...
You trying for a baby? How far along are you?
MPreg is illegal in this state, and, yeesh. He's dying out there. And I'm dying over here. Just read the fucking card. A few people, Theodore included, turned to the source of the sound. I've never heard Redline sound that aggressive. There was even a growl in his voice. The rabbit clears his throat and continues. Would the following 12 fighters please come to the steps here in front of me? He proceeds to list off a few names of people I don't recognize. Each name was accompanied by a resounding single cheer from the audience. You would kind of think he'd know most names and faces by now, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, Redline Greyfang. I've never seen Red move this fast. He's up at the steps like a streak of lightning.
Streak of lightning?
And lines up next to the rest of the fighters. Due to the excellent performance of these 12 fighters, FANG is excited to offer everyone standing up here a promotion. Tier 1 fighters, you are now Tier 2, and Tier 2s are now Tier 3. Are they going to be ripping Redline out of your bedroom now? Is that where it's going? Right, when you're like, oh, do I have feelings for Redline? And then he gets moved to a different room and is no longer there anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, that hasn't been relevant at all because he apparently hasn't talked to him for 3 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
But that would be a good structure.
That time skip is rough.
Yep.
It just makes it fits so little.
Yep.
The crowd's already erupting into cheers, applauding their friends and colleagues. I do notice a few people that are very clearly not happy, with one or two stomping out of the cafeteria. But the smile on Redline's face is too perfect. He doesn't know where to look. So his head just keeps darting to the crowd, then to me, then to the fighters next to him, then back to me. I feel like he kind of knows where to look.
Mm-hmm.
His tail swats the guy next to him on accident, but he's too happy to get scared when the big cat growls at him. You, 12, will get a new email detailing your contracts and room assignments shortly. Please enjoy the rest of your day.
Room assignments? Oh,
Yep.
no.
Oh, no. How will I ever take him to the route now? I think this is the first I've seen Theodore leave the lunchroom without getting harassed. Wait, room assignments? Whoa! We're getting new roommates? Dude! He's beaming as big as ever when he returns. I'm wondering if he heard everything Theodore said. It was pretty loud at the end there. Congratulations, Red. That's huge. What's the pay raise? I think it's like double, and that's double from the previous pay rate before it was docked a few months ago. More vacation days, unlimited cafeteria access, private coaching. This is huge, dude. I'm really happy for you, Red. Thanks.
Whoa, shit.
Ow! Fuck!
Oh, wow. A jump scare. That was awesome. All right.
Oh,
Congrats.
I got pushback for the amount of swearing in my visual novel. For some people, I'm like, I don't know, I just like a good fuck. It's just good. Just slip them in here and there. They work. Bruce walks by, bonking Red on the scalp. I catch him winking at Redline before walking off with his crowd of friends. I guess that counts as discreet. Nobody else could have noticed how. He's huge. He's extremely noticeable. At least Red knows enough not to make a big deal about it in front of everyone, but his tail is still wagging. It's still so strange that they have like kayfabe amongst the people in this room, but not in a public performance. We get rid of our trays and start to head up to our room. So when does it take effect? I think it's immediate. Let me check the email. He whips out his phone and scrolls for a bit. Ah, yep, says it's effective immediately. And there's a bonus too. I get 5 vacation days right away. That's awesome. His dad's scheme is just to give him a promotion, so he goes on a vacation and just locks him out. Nope, you're gone.
They move the entire facility somewhere and don't tell him.
So he wins 1 fight and gets promoted? No, he's 4-0.
Yep.
He gets this incredible shit while I'm still fighting Bruce forever?
Oh, man.
This is so fucking stupid. I'm working my ass off fighting some massive animal. I barely make it out alive, and I can't even get a day off. He doesn't deserve this. I deserve it. Okay, Xander. Okay.
God damn it.
Jesus.
God damn it.
The actual thought he doesn't deserve this when he's 4-0, and also he took down a guy 50 pounds heavier than him, and you saw that. I swear to God,
Yeah.
Wait, stop. I'm freaking out.
Thank you. Thank you. God, I'm glad it went this way.
What did Drayden say again? Ground myself? Find something I can grab. He's gonna grab Redline? I reach over and grab Redline's wrist. It just sort of happens. I wasn't thinking, I don't know. I just need to breathe. I look at him. Hey, you alright? I don't know. Oh. Well, here, let's, we're by our room, so Redline quickly opens the door and pulls me inside. Before I know it, we're sitting on our respective beds. Red has both my hands in his thumbs rubbing small, gentle circles on mine. You're breathing really fast. Am I? I am. Try to slow down. I am. In and out. There you go. My brother's had panic attacks like this all the time. Mom, everything's gonna be a promise. Everything's gonna be okay, I promise. Your brothers had panic attacks all the time? What was your upbringing? Commissioner, what's up, buddy? Why are all of your kids having panic attacks? Thanks. Sorry. He laughs. What are you apologizing for? For getting mad at you about your promotion, is what I should have said, but I don't want him to know I was thinking that.
Good call.
For grabbing you like that. Red rolls his eyes. It's all good, Xander. Honest. You startled me for a sec, but I'm just glad you're okay. He starts to pull away, but I hold on to his hands. I think he gets the picture. Take all the time you need, man. Time passes, and my head starts to clear. Glad I didn't lose my cool at him again. He doesn't deserve that. Not right after he got this kind of news. I think that's going to be it for today. It's probably the spot to transition on. Never knowing in advance, because I haven't read it ahead, so I don't know. But that's between things. Is he going to confess to Zander in time? To the Redline in time before he's gone forever? And he goes to a slightly different floor or something? Or...
I mean, and as we've established, tier 2 fighters and tier 1 fighters or whatever never interact and can never physically be in the same locations together.
Will he ever ask Redline why his name's Redline? That's a weird name.
Yeah.
Bye.